Hello everyone, today I want to show you how to make this Wirework rose chain. So how you can make your own chain using links like this that looks like nice delicate little roses. And I've just ended up making a bracelet here. It makes a really nice and delicate bracelet, I think. But you can obviously use the chain for whatever you want. So you have your links together nicely like this, and because of the way we put them together it lies nice and flat, because there is kind of a front and a back to this. It's not too obvious, but you just have a little bit of more straight wire showing on the back. But by connecting them properly together, they do lie flat like this. And also you can use the individual links to say make earrings like that. So some nice dangles. So you can make some nice sets out of this and use it for whatever you want to. So if you want to learn how to make this chain, then keep watching. So all we're going to need to make this is a bit of wire and some beads. And the wire that I'm working with here is a regular round wire and it's a 0.6mm in thickness. I do personally recommend this. I think it gives some nice delicate links, but it's still strong enough as well. And then the beads that I'm working with here, these are just 4mm rounds, and I'm just working with a purple coated hematite, but you can use whatever you want to. So let's get it together and let's get started. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is cut off some lengths of wire, and I'm just going to be working with one at a time. Each length I'm going to be working with is about 25cm long, and that's going to give roughly the size length that I'm going to be showing you. You can obviously make it longer or shorter if you want to change the size of the link. So we then take our length of wire here that we got ready. So we start with the first one, and then what I'm also going to be using is a mandrel here. Now you can use anything really. I'm just going to be working with this because it has a nice big round one on the bottom there. I'm going to be working with that one. You can use anything that you have convenient to you. You just need to make sure that whatever shape it has and size is not too small, because we need to have enough wire at the end to then make the wrap loops as well. So I'm going to just put my wire behind and then pull my ends around here. So I'm using this mandrel as a guide to begin with. It's kind of like how you would work with a ring mandrel as well. So like this. And you want to make sure that you're getting this in about the middle of the piece of wire. So you have roughly the same length of both your tails here. And then what we need to do is secure this on the top. So that means I'm going to grab hold of them, and then where they cross there in the middle, we need to wrap them around each other. Just basically twist them together just about once here. And then now it's more secure in place. And then we need to start going straight into making the rose. So what we need to do is I start on one side. What I prefer to do, if you have one that's a bit longer than the other one, you can just start with that one. I'm going to basically keep this one wire going around first, lift the other one up a little bit, and basically chasing the other one, and then have it come all the way underneath that. So it looks like that. So we're creating a little circle there in the middle, and then when it's underneath, I'm going to then just lift it up a little bit. So it looks like this. And then the other one that's now behind, I need to then chase the one that we just put underneath that. And I like to also, as I go, kind of hold my thumb on top of the middle there. It just helps give it a nice shape. But we need to then go underneath that one. And then as we're coming up the other side, just kick it up a little bit again. Take the one behind, go underneath that one and kick it up a little bit in the front. And then you'll be able to see that you have this kind of swirl growing in the middle that's going to end up turning into what's going to look like the rose. And then it's just going to, you keep chasing your wires like this, it's just going to grow into a bigger one. And then you basically want to keep doing this until you reach the size that you want it to be. And always just lift the one you just used up a little bit so you can get the other one underneath. So something like this. Working your way all the way around. And like I said, it really is handy having that thumb on there, because it keeps it nice and flat and just keeps it in the shape that you want it really. So it keeps it going around instead of maybe losing its shape. I'm getting towards the end, you can see. I'm using up my wire there. And then you just need to decide how large you want it. I think this is my last one. So that's just the right size. So I'm now going to take it off, and then we need to finish off these ends here. So to do that, I'm going to just get some wire cutters or flush cutters, and then cut them down. And you can just see I'm kind of finishing them on the side, on that one side of the rose. And then I want to cut them down so I have just a bit of length sticking up from the rose there. It's on the side. And then I take some flat nose or chain nose pliers and I just kind of squeeze them down so they line flat next to each other. And then we need to get these ends tucked in behind the rose so we can get them out of the way, because otherwise right now obviously they would catch on everything. So I grab hold of both of them with my chain nose there, I gently push them downward and then tuck them in behind so they just line like this now. And then what I just want to do is right at the end of these wires, I want to just grab hold of the end and then just make a little bit of a bend inwards. So just a little flick with your wrist like that. So the actual ends are pointing in towards the back of the rose. Because then when you go in and take your pliers and squeeze them down, the ends will kind of stick in and nestle in with all the wires that you've swirled around there. And that way nothing is going to catch on anything or that, because the wires, the ends, have been tucked away. So there we go, that's the rose done now with your ring there. So then once you've made your first rose here, then what we need to do is get some wire cutters again and then just roughly figure out where the middle is there, so just judge it by eye. And then we need to go in and cut off or cut the middle, so we end up having two tails here. So when we open up that circle, and what they're going to do is then come out to each side of the rose. You just want to just take a minute or two, straighten them out so they're coming out straight across from each other, and the rose is going to be right in the middle there, and also the actual wire is as straight as possible, so just like that. Then now what we need to do is make the actual wrap loops that's going to then also connect all the length and also add in our bead. So we need to just remember to add the bead now. So whatever bead you're using, put that on one side first, and then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, both sides here of the rose, I'm going to have the loops that I'm going to make face in opposite directions. So I'm going to show you what I mean with that. So I'm going to make a wrap loop. So in this case I'm going to place my chain nose pliers a little bit above the bead, so I have a couple of millimeters above the bead of free space, because we need to fill that in with the wraps that we'll be doing. And I'm going to bend this to the side. So if you look from the front, the rose there, the wire, the angle is going out to the side. And then I'm going to get I'm going to be using my 6-step bell making pliers here, but you can use round nose pliers if you want, and that's completely fine. I just like using these because I make sure that I get the exact same size loop. It's going to make it much more even throughout. Place them right above the angle. Get the end of the wire around here and around the front. So on this side you can actually see the loop like that circle lying flat when we're looking from the front. And then to tighten up this wrap loop, we just take the tail and wrap it around underneath the loop above the bead there. So filling in that little space that we left. Like that. And then we get the flush cutters or wire cutters, cut off the excess. And then always get your chain nose pliers, and just that little tail you then have left from cutting it off, you just want to make sure to press that down so that's not going to be sticking out. So that's the one side. Then on the other side I'm going to again just add my bead first of all, and then in this case I want my loop to be facing the other way. So instead of lying flat like that, we're going to be able to see it when we look from the side. And I'm doing this because this is going to ensure when you're making the chain that it's going to all lie flat. So I'm just going to look from the front here, place my pliers again a bit above, a couple of millimeters above the bead, make my bend towards the back, get my 6-step bell making pliers, take my tail all the way around to make that loop. Keep hold of the loop so that doesn't go out of shape while you're wrapping here, and then just again fill in that space. And if you feel this is too short, you can also use another pair of pliers to help wrap around. That does can make it a little bit easier. So just fill in this space. Again, cut off the excess. And then once you've done that, take again your chain nose pliers, just like before, make sure you just tuck in that end. And there we then have our very first link. So I've then just made another link here as well. So I've got the rose ready, I just need to make the wrap loops. I just want to do that and then show you to connect them as well, the best way. So again, like I said before, I usually just start with the one that lies flat from the front, and it's no particular reason or rule for that. It's just purely, I do recommend kind of finding a rhythm, because obviously if you then make two the wrong way, it's no big deal by the way, because if you make one the wrong way, all you do is just turn it like that. But I just prefer to try and get them the right direction from the beginning. But then I'm just going to make the one first, so I start adding my bead, bend it to the side first, because that's the rhythm I have. I start with that one, then get my bail making pliers, grab hold of the loop and wrap the tail around, filling in that space like that. Cut off the excess, and then just remember to squeeze the end down there, and then on the other end is where we want to do it the opposite way. So add your bead, and then this is where I'm bending it straight backward, then making my loop, towards the front there, grab my chain nose pliers if you just need to straighten it out. And then now before we then wrap this one, this is where you want to remember to connect your links together. So this is where it comes in, where we have them in different directions, because if they were all flat you would need then a separate jump ring maybe to connect them, which you could do if you wanted to, but in this case we need to then connect the opposites together. So I need to connect the one that I've just done with the flat one on the previous one, and I need to go through from the back, and you can see the back is where you just have a bit of wire connecting from the middle up to the beads. Go through that, because then when it sits together, when we wrapped it, it's going to sit perfectly flat like this, and it's going to make the chain lie really nice and flat. And then once you've connected it, get your chain nose pliers, grab hold, and then just finish your wrap loop there by filling in the gap, cutting off the excess, and then squeeze the end down. Always remember to do that. It just finishes it off nicely, so you're not going to have it scratching. There we go. So I've now connected two links together by alternating what direction I'm doing the wrap loops in. Like I said, if you do it the wrong way, it's no big deal. You can just twist it the opposite way, and then it's going to lie flat like this, so it's going to give a really nice effect. So you just want to keep doing this however long you want your chain to be. I've then kept going here, making links and attaching them together as well along the way, and then I've ended up with a bracelet in this case. So I just made a bracelet length with this, and then I attached obviously my clasp and extended chain as well. So this makes a really nice and delicate bracelet, but still gives a nice impact. And because we made the links that way, where they alternate, it lies really nice and flat all the way across. So that's how it looks. And then obviously you can use this for many different things. It just makes a really nice chain. You can also use the individual links for earrings. You can make nice matching sets as well. So that's how it looks, and it's pretty simple to do. You're just building up your chain with your roses there. So I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and thank you very much for watching. Hello everyone. Today I want to show you how to make these Celtic knot wirework earrings, and they look like this. So quite simple, they have a nice dangle to them, and just because of the gemstone that I added there, it also gives a bit of colour, but you have this nice effect. But they're quite simple and easy to make, so if you want to learn how to make these, then keep watching. So these are the few things that we'll need to make these earrings. Now here I have my wire, and this is a